Now, as the season is progressing, we're seeing that the Sooners are still working on recruiting because no matter what, recruiting doesn't end, at least until they sign on line, which is dotted. So we're going to dive into a player that Oklahoma's looking at. Talking flip watch here, baby. Sooners made an offer to Reggie Powers, who was committed to Michigan State, but today he decommitted. The offer came on September 12th, and then, a couple days later, it looks like he decides to decommit. So, we've got to talk about this player and see if this is an opportunity for the Sooners to snatch up a 4-star from, basically the competition. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thanks for pulling up to the channel. We're going to dive into Reggie Powers. We're going to look at his measurables. We're going to look at a little film, and we're going to ask ourselves the question, has Oklahoma got a chance of snatching this young pup up? I don't know, but we'll definitely figure this out. So let's dive right into it. Reggie Powers, 4-star safety out of Dayton, Ohio. He's one of those players that looked like Ohio State had him locked up, but he ended up going to Michigan State instead. And now with everything going on at Michigan State, Mel Tucker now technically being fired and appealing, and it's looking like things are really getting shaken up. And everybody, the Sharks, see blood, they smell blood in the water, and everybody's going after it. And Oklahoma decided to give this offer, which is one of many offers they're giving the safeties that are on the docket right now. We, of course, got Michael Patterson McDonald, the local OK Prep, as well as Jaden Hardy out of Louisville, Texas. Those are the two commits at the safety position. And then I know the Sooners were looking to add an additional one. And that additional one, initially, we were thinking was Michael Boganowski out of the Kansas area. And that battle is still going. But we don't know if Boganowski is going to pick Oklahoma or not. I know his dad has a little affinity to the Kansas State team because his former head coach, when he was at New Mexico State, is one of the coaches there at Kansas State. And so we're still wondering if Boggs is going to come here. Still up in the air. But Reggie Powers is a name that you got to go ahead and get yourself familiar with. So let's dive into his measurables and go through that. As I mentioned before about Reggie, he is 6 foot, 200-pound safety out of Dayton, Ohio, Centerville High School. So he's one of those Ohio players. And honestly, I'm still surprised that Oklahoma made the offer and possibly has a chance of going at him. Consensus and composite 4-star player. He is ranked nationally in the top 400 in the country. He's a top 35 safety in college football. And out of all the safeties in the country, that's pretty good. 50 states, a whole bunch of high schools. He's top 35. So it's pretty solid spotting. So, when I looked at him, I wondered, what was Oklahoma looking at in this offer? What made them go after him? And so when we dove into the film, recognized that man is, he's a hitter. And you know what I noticed about the way Oklahoma plays football this year? They like to hit. And so the thing that I know you Oklahoma Sooner fans have really been big on is finding players that can wrap up, that can hit. So I know you've all been impressed with the defense this year. We've got much less missed tackles, in which I got another video coming tomorrow to talk about that and talk about our defensive rankings and, of course, go through all the stats and numbers. The stuff that I like to go through. We're going to dive into that. But Reggie looks like he fits that bill. He's a safety that likes to hit. He has good instincts. He moves pretty nicely. He can blitz. He knows how to read plays, which is something that's critical for what we're trying to do. When those trick plays come out the bag, will you be caught flat-footed and tricked out, or will you be able to sniff it out and immediately make a play? Looks like Reggie's one of those players, and so Oklahoma's going after him. I don't know the chances. I'm giving us about if I'm going to give a prediction, about 35% chance to land him, but he did just decommit today from Michigan State. And that decommitment tells me that there is some interest. And now, if that's the case, I expect an official visit to come up soon. Now, we all know that the Iowa State game is going to have a lot of players in town. I saw that David Stone, I don't know if Jaden Jackson's going to join him, but he might. But Jordan Seaton is supposed to join him as well, offensive tackle. We'll talk about the entire list of players that I've seen on social media saying they're going to pull up. But that Iowa State night game, it's going to be huge for the Sooners. It's going to have a lot of talent in place as we do the big, I guess you could say, hosting weekend right before we go to OU, Texas, Red River in Dallas. I anticipate the Sooners really busting their butt to try to get some of these players to make their decisions and hopefully, like I said, win a couple of them here or there. That's something that, we know Oklahoma is pushing for, especially the way the defense is playing today. They have flown up the board on a lot of these athletes that we've been chasing after. And this decommitment is not going to be the only one for Michigan State. Please believe. We saw Hayes Fawcett put in a tweet saying that this was decommitment season. And yeah, we're going to start seeing a lot more of these. I bet you he's got all kinds of graphics just in the chamber, just ready to fire off on the X world so y'all can see, here's another decommitment, here's another decommitment. And I don't think Reggie's going to be the only one that decommits from Michigan State with everything that's going on there. Hopefully they can salvage things to survive, but he looks like a player that Oklahoma would like to have their hands on. As I mentioned, he's a hitter. He looks like he's versatile. At 6 foot, 200 pounds already, well, 6'1" here in high school. He's already got good size. You know, you add him with a player like Dane McCullough, who's right around 200 pounds at 6'2". Man, you get yourself a nice stable of safeties going into the SEC. And so I'm looking at Reggie. I'm like, all right, come on down here. You like covered wagons? You may as well come check out the campus and tell us what you think about it. So, of course, that's Reggie. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know what's your thoughts. We're getting back into recruiting. Things are heating up again. We've got a ton of players coming down the line that we're waiting to see. And I like what I saw out of Reggie when I really looked at the film. Like I said, he's a hitter. He has good instincts. And it's going to just add to the experience that we're putting together on the defensive side. So y'all tell me what y'all think about that. If you've made it this far and you like the content, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love to have you join this family. And so also, you know, we got a Discord. We hang out in there. We talk about recruits coming in and out. That's usually where a lot of my intel is coming from because the community is so dope. They just throw all the information in there that I need. So make sure y'all pull up if you want to hang out with us. YouTube says watch one of these videos. I highly recommend it. Why? Because I created it for you. So check it out. Let your boy know what you think. We'll talk soon. Peace.